Right, 28 January 2023, and we're continuing with our coverage of the 2023 Zimbabwe general elections that are going to be held between the end of July and beginning of August, somewhere there. And a lot has been happening. Particularly, there has been a shift in the atmosphere in the country. If you look at the CCC of Nelson Chamisa, the party has changed their direction in terms of their demand for reforms. So they're going into this election, they are speaking out about their win. They are saying they're going to win these elections, and they're no longer talking about going out to the UN or to the AU or to the SADC to demand reforms. Obviously, it's no longer possible at this point to start talking about reforms, electoral reforms, and also from the Pollard side, they were talking of reforms, and as far as I'm concerned, all those initiatives are dead. Everyone is now focused on the upcoming election, but there is a method behind what Chamisa is doing and the CCC. The method is they have calculated and realized that they actually don't need those reforms. What they need is to just go into this election. They have everything that it takes to win. That is the calculation that they've made on their side. And I want to look at why they've reached that conclusion and whether that is the truth. And in my own view, obviously, Chamisa is probably right about that the reforms are no longer necessary. The electoral landscape in Zimbabwe has totally changed, as I said, over the past week. The people that we're dealing with, the voters that we're dealing with in Zimbabwe right now is not the same voter that was there when Mugabe was removed, soon after Mugabe was removed in 2017, and the vote came in 2018. The voter that we have now is a very angry voter that is looking for change. And that voter, in my opinion, is looking for a drastic change. So ZANU-PF, as I said last week, has not done enough to change the view of young people in the cities. So imagine how many new young people are coming in or have came in the past 5 years. It means the 13-year-olds that were there, they are possibly going to be voting this year. And don't underestimate the number of the young people that are going to vote. Don't underestimate the impact on the older generation who had hopes that things were going to change under the new government. And then they are still back where they are. That is how they feel. That is how most of Zimbabweans feel. They feel that things have not changed. They need a change. So Chamisa, all he has to do is to avoid making mistakes, is to make sure that he maintains his base. People are going to be helping him around in the neighborhoods, in the communities. So what you're seeing right now is probably Chamisa sneaking up on ZANU-PF and going to hit them with the big surprise come the elections in 6 months' time. So this is where we are. That is why you see that Chamisa doesn't need the reforms. The reforms in terms of things like the voters' roll, things like collection and carrying of ballots. The actual legislation in Zimbabwe is not a problem. The problem is the implementation of the rules. But the actual electoral laws in Zimbabwe, then it's not really much that is different from all the other countries in the region. So Chamisa has abandoned that demand, and he's basically telling his people that go out there and vote. And many people have not realized that this is actually a better strategy for Chamisa. Instead of demanding reforms from the people that they're competing with, you just say, let's go and vote and let's see who wins. Then the other part which I obviously want to mention is that ZANU-PF has been very slow to kick off their campaign. Normally, you'll be having the campaign structures already on the ground. You'll be having national leadership of the campaign. Right now, as you speak, brochures and banners and all those other things, they will be already showing. You'll be seeing the ZANU-PF on the ground campaigning. As it stands right now, it's not really clear what is the ZANU-PF campaign strategy for 2023, who is leading the campaign, what is the messaging, and what is it that the manifesto of ZANU-PF is going into the next 5 years. Imagine how difficult it is going to be for ZANU-PF to talk about housing, to talk about infrastructure, to talk about education, all those things that they had in their last manifesto, to talk about the economic transformation and growth. It's going to be extremely difficult for ZANU-PF to sell their manifesto to young people in the towns. So something drastic has to happen. And as you will see, as we go deeper in the coming week, I'm going to show you the change in the demographics of the registered voters in the ZANU-PF strongholds. There is a very big impact on ZANU-PF on what has happened in the past few years. And for Chamisa, that's why he's extremely confident now to go into this election without the reforms. And you will see that if these reforms had been an issue, by now, people were going to be focusing on what will happen, who is going to come and change what. But right now, it's going to be, let's go into those elections, let's see who wins. And this is where we are. I want to end it here today, and then I'll probably come in very soon, or maybe tomorrow, come in with my opinions on other issues. I'll probably pick on one or two things post-election and see what happens. And then during the week, we'll continue with looking at ZAC. Thank you very much for watching. And if you have any comments, please put them down in the comment section. And I really appreciate all the support that you've been giving to this show. Zimbabwe2023elections.com. That is going to be our website under development. Thank you very much and good night.